Good, how are you?
Great, how's everyone doing?
Good.
Who here has a summer birthday? Okay, so you guys understand what it's like never to have your birthday celebrated at school, right? Yeah. Okay, so I'm glad we could do something for a couple of us. But without further delay, I'd like to introduce our next speaker. Miss Connie Rose got her master's from Barry University in adult education, training, and development. Her professional experience includes working as a trainer and speaker. She has a very diverse background both in the nonprofit and business world, and she's an expert when it comes to human trafficking, both raising awareness and helping to fight the offense of it. She has a lot of experience and many beneficial points for you to learn from, so please help me welcome Miss Connie Rose.
Hey! Thank you. We're having a little techno difficulties, so hold on, I gotta put my mic into my pants back here. Okay, sorry about that. Anyway, so I heard you guys had an awesome day yesterday, yes?
Yes.
How's your day been going today? Good. So, are you ready to do an activity with me? Yes. All right, I know you just had lunch, so I'm sorry to ask you to do this, but I need you to all stand up. That's right, push those chairs away just a little bit. Let's go, let's go. Come on. All right, put your hands over your head. And you're gonna shake it out with me, okay? So are you ready? Here we go. You're gonna shake, shake, shake. Come on. Shake, shake, shake. Woo, you're a leader. Yeah, you're a leader. Woo, come on. Shake, shake, shake. Whoa, come on. Shake, shake, shake. Yeah, you're a leader. Woo, you're a leader. Woo, yay. All right, give me some
One more time.
All right.
Shake, shake, shake.
One more time.
One more time.
One more time. All right, here we go. You
You gotta
ready?
sing it.
Here we go. Okay, arms up over your head. Here we go. Shake, shake, shake. Woo, come on. Shake, shake, shake. Yeah, you're a leader. Woo, you're a leader. Woo, go. Shake, shake, shake. Shake, shake, shake. Whoa, you're a leader. Woo, you're a leader. All right. Awesome job. All right, so I'm just curious. So you see this up here and it says, kick your past to the curb. What do you think that's going to mean? Anybody? Leave it behind, right? Do you think we kind of drag it around with us? No, yeah.
It's not good. It's not healthy.
That's right. You shouldn't. It's not good. It's not healthy because what does it do to you?
Brings you down.
Yeah, it brings you down. And if we're going to talk about leadership today, right, because that's kind of what this whole conference is about leadership. Okay, so we're going to talk about how stuff in your past can be just dragging you totally down, okay? And so we're going to do a little game, and we're going to see just how good Miss Connie is. Because resiliency comes in all different shapes and sizes. Resiliency is like a rubber band, right? It's flexible, it stretches, it can bounce back. So now I gotta make sure I don't hit anybody. So just imagine if you had a rubber band and that's your life, whoops, and you could just let it go. What would that look like for you? So imagine, this is you and your past. Nope, I'm going over your head. And this is your past. What are you gonna do? You're gonna let it go. So just imagine that. Take that with you. I know you did some motivational and meditation things earlier, right? So imagine if you were meditating and you put a rubber band in your meditation and you said, whoa, whatever I've lived through in the past, whoa, it's going to go away. What do you think that's going to look like for you? Because that's what resiliency and leadership is going to do. That's how it all comes together, okay? And so, Thomas Edison, we're going to watch a video in a little bit. He was this great inventor, right? He invented all kinds of incredible things. There are things that we would not have today if it was not for Thomas Edison. Do you know that he didn't go to school? Do you know that every time he tried something, everyone said he was going to fail and he never would amount to anything? And so he says, find the strength to keep going. I have not failed. I just found 10,000 ways that won't work. So every time you have something, right, that you're like, oh, I didn't do this right, whatever. Just say, you know what? That just didn't work. So let me think about a new way to look at this and how's that going to work for me? And so what about this? If you have to do what is right for you, nobody can ever walk in your shoes. Can I walk in your shoes right there in the corner? No. No. Our birthday boy. Can I walk in your shoes? No. Can I walk in your shoes? Question. Does it have anything to do with our race? Our color? Our social economics? Our past? No, it has nothing at all to do with that, okay? Oh, and then magically, the lights. No, we need the lights back on. Thank you. All right. Oh, it's the timer. Wasn't that good though? It's like, all right, it's a God thing. Hello, here we go. Okay. So it's about looking at your own life. Do you have resiliency? Do you have what you need to bounce back? Do you have what you need to catch them?
Yep.
Okay, no, watch. Miss Claudia and I were playing with these. Okay, so now they're not lighting up. Of course they're not, but you're going to catch them anyway. Whoa. Okay, and they went, oh, there goes one. Is this you? Think about it. Can you light up? Okay, put your hands up. I'm going to try because I'm really not like that good, okay? Ask my son when I had to teach him how to play ball. Oh, you weren't supposed to put your hands up that high. All right, one more. Keep your arm down. You ready? Put your arms up right there. White shirt, black sweater. Okay, we got this one going. Yep, yep, I'm talking to you, right? There you go. Whoa, okay, sorry I overthrew that. But you need to learn how to overcome your challenges, right? Because if you drag those challenges around with you, what is that going to be like? What is that going to look like? Pitiful. Pitiful? Yeah, kind of pitiful, right? And if you let your failures take away your dreams, are you really going to allow that to happen? Because here's the gift. We all have something. Every person that is walking on this earth has something that happened to them. So I'm going to take you back. Some of us, it's going to be a little bit farther back than others, all right? But I'm going to take you back to like preschool, kindergarten. Can you go back there with me? And remember when you were so excited and you were coloring. Remember that, right? You had all the right colors out because maybe it was a little girl, a little boy, so the hair is right, the shoes are right, you got jeans, like whatever it is, right? They're all out, so you're coloring because you're all excited. Hey, this is like awesome, I love to color. And then all of a sudden the teacher walks up behind you. What happens? Ooh, the teacher's behind me. Oh no. But what really happens, all of a sudden you go, whoop, and there you go and you're outside the lines, right? And she says, what's wrong with you? You can't follow directions. And so you're getting nervous and you're trying to color some more. And then all of a sudden, whoop, and then you go outside the lines again. Now that, for a lot of people, is trauma. And they carry that little incident right there, coloring in preschool, in kindergarten, even some of you in here. They carry that around with them for the rest of their lives. So the next time that you think about what can stop you, so the next time that you think that there's something that's going to take away your dreams, think about that coloring, right? Bring that to your mind, because for a lot of folks, that has totally stopped them in their tracks, right? They didn't go to college because I'm dumb and stupid. They didn't go seek the job that they really wanted to do because of what a kindergarten or preschool teacher said to them. So don't ever, ever let anyone take your dream away. Don't ever let any circumstance in your life take your dream away, because the truth is, you can accomplish anything. It's built within you. It's inbred within you. And so we're going to do what's called the resiliency quiz. I don't want you to panic because, oh my God, she's giving us a quiz. Nobody said we had to take a quiz. But guess what? We have one. All right, so turn it over. Everyone should have, oh no, we don't. They're on the end of the table. Do me a favor, pass them down. It looks just like this. Pass it down.
We need one more.
No, they go down your, okay, you have enough?
I moved.
You're good. You have enough? It's up to you. You can put your name on it. You don't have to put your name on it. I just want you to take the resiliency quiz. And then you're thinking, so why do I need to take this resiliency quiz? Like, what is this about? Let me ask you this. Do we have some speakers of another language? Do we need to read this quiz? Are we all good? Okay, just checking. I just want to make sure. So take 5 minutes and go through it. And it's going to take you on, and some of you are going to go, I'm really not that old. How far do I go back? Just go back to when you were younger. That's all that it's about. and then compare it to where you are today. Deal? You know, 5 minutes seems like such a long time. And don't overthink it. Yes, sir.
I need a pen. Right here.
And don't overthink it. This is, remember, nobody else is going to look at this. This is all about you. This is your thing. There's no score. There's no A, B, C, D, E, F. Well, there's no E when we do grades, right? Okay? It's just about to see, where are you? What is your resiliency? What does it look like for you to be able to bounce back? For some of you, it might bring up some stuff. For some of you, maybe there's some things you haven't thought about in a very, very, very long time. Just let your mind flow. Let your pen flow, or your pencil, whatever you happen to be using. And just see what's there for you. Breathe. So for some of you, this is a great thing to do as you're taking a test. Because this isn't a real test, right? So breathe it through. Imagine what it looks like to be resilient. Imagine what it looks like to live the life that you want to live. Imagine what it looks like to live out your dreams. Because right now you're all dreaming. Right? You're dreaming, what's the next thing for me? What sport am I going to get to play? What college do I have to think about that I want to go to? What do I want to major in? What classes, it's summertime. What classes am I taking? You probably already signed up, right? But what classes am I taking when we go back to school in just a few weeks? And we're just going to wrap up in 1 second. So don't panic if you didn't get it done. Because you can always do it later. All right, let's put our pens down. Ready? So were you surprised to see, some of you that were done, that completed it, what your resiliency score really is? Were you surprised to see that maybe you've been down to yourself? Maybe you've been saying, like, oh, these things have happened to me. Oh, I just got out of middle school and now I'm going to high school, and middle school was horrible because there was all these bullies there. Go back and look at this when you're by yourself. Maybe retake it if you want. We have extra copies if you want to take it home. Check out really how powerful and how resilient you really are. Because what do we walk in? We walk in self-doubt all the time, right? Tamar did, I heard you do about the I ams, the affirmations. I am resilient. I am inspirational. I have an incredible imagination. My ideas are brilliant. The hat, where's the idea guy right here? He's got on the hat, right? My ideas are brilliant. My thoughts are incredible and I should share them with the world. Because you should, right? Not just those of us that are up here speaking, but you should. And don't ever panic. Hey, look, and I can be the panic queen, all right? But I gotta remind myself all the time. Because what's panicking gonna do?
Not good. The problem's still there.
It's good. Problem's gonna still be there. What else does it do?
Lets you down.
Makes you stressful, bogs you down. Does that stop you in your tracks? Yeah. Do you want something like that to stop you in your tracks? No. And so the greatest mistake we can be is to stay on the ground after falling. Because the truth is, okay, remember riding your bicycle? Learning how to ride your bicycle? How many of you, rode it the very first time? Anybody in this room? Whoa, seriously? You got on and that was it? Dang, you guys are stupid kids. Really? Took off. Okay, well, most of us got a lot of bumps and bruises along the way. I still got scars on my knees, okay? So most of us fell off quite a few times. A lot of us, whoever that person that was helping us to learn how to ride that bicycle, probably was huffing and puffing a whole lot because, no, don't let go of me. No, don't let go of me. Oh, I'm gonna fall. Does it matter if you fall? Right, Thomas Edison, 10,000 failures he had before he had success. So we're going to talk about change your mind, change your life. What do you think that means? Somebody, what do you think that means? Change your mind, change your life.
That your outlook on your situation can change how the situation makes you feel.
Absolutely. Do you think that if you have a negative thought about yourself, do you think if you have self-doubt, do you think that when you walk in to take that test and you're saying to yourself, I can't do this, I studied all night and I still didn't get like all this stuff, my brain like really hurts. Do you think if you switch that and you said, I studied all night, I am gonna ace this test. Oh, I fell off the bicycle. I'm gonna get back up and I'm gonna go right on. So if you always make this shift, and that's like really easy to do, and I'm gonna tell you what, I'm gonna share my story in a few minutes, but I work with survivors of sex trafficking, okay? A lot, throughout the country, this is what I do. So I travel around working with survivors, how to speak, how to be in media, but I also work with survivors in a residential program. And their little mantra that I give them is change your mind, change your life. Because in that moment in time, when you feel all that stuff coming up, right? And you want to run because there's this lot of anxiety is starting to build up inside of you. That bully's coming across the school, right? Across the ball field. You're like, oh my God. And you're walking into the bathroom and you're like, ah. You changed your mind and you said, I'm more powerful than them. There's no one more powerful than me. Now there is, depending on your belief system. All right, so I don't want to ever take away from that. But besides that, who's more powerful? You. You're the most powerful, right? Okay? So plant that in your seed. So as you're doing your affirmations, as you're doing your meditations, plant in your mind that little seed. Because you know what? You're going to watch it sow, because that's what we're doing here. We're giving you like seeds. We're giving you tools in your tool belt. Because one day, that seed is going to sow, change your mind, change your life. And you're going to soar like an eagle. Because when you don't bog yourself down, when you learn how just to let things go, when you learn how to do this, so this is another little trick I like teach our survivors, and I taught my children. I have 2 kids. I actually have a grandchild. Can you imagine me? I have an 18-month-old grandchild. It's like a serious thing. He's too young. I haven't taught him this. But my kids, I taught them, and my girls that I work with. See that problem right there? Put it on your shoulder and watch what happens. Boop! Just like flick it right off, right? They're gone. See that pimp? You know that one that like you see, the one that like you said, oh, destroyed my life and took everything away from me? Watch this. Right here. I'm gonna flick him off like a little bug. What? Oh, you mean that bully at school? Watch what I'm gonna do with him. I'm gonna stick him on the end of my toe, and he's gonna go for a ride. Oh, let's watch. Let's do this. Right? Watch. Now be careful, because God only knows where this is gonna go. And if I can do this, man, it might not work. Okay, ready? That's that bully. What do you think I'm going to do with them? Oops! But I kicked them to the curb, right? Just let them go. So plant that. Plant that in your mind. And so we're going to queue up, I think Claudia, wherever she is. Oh, there she is. All right. So we're going to watch just a really short video, and then we're going to talk about it afterwards. So you ready? Oh, wrong one.
Go back. Sorry.
Dismissed from drama school with a note that read, wasting her time. She's too shy to put her best foot forward. Turned down by the Decca recording company, who said, we don't like their sound and guitar music is on the way out. A failed soldier, farmer, and real estate agent, at 38 years old, went to work for his father's hand.
You want to live? Do you want to live?
Yes.
Do you want to live an incredible life?
Yes.
Do you want to live the life that you were created to be?
Yes.
We just lost our video and our PowerPoint. Does that matter?
No.
No, because I can talk through it. All right? So while Miss Claudia is trying to figure out how to fix it, how are you going to live? What are you going to do?
You're gonna fail.
You're going to fail? Are you going to fail or are you going to take risks? Does it matter if you fail?
No.
So what happens? What does failure do? Excuse me?
What does he
It teaches you, right? And it creates leaders. That's right. So I'm going to share some stuff with you in just a few minutes. For some of you, it might be a little hard to hear. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail. For some of you, you might know someone that has lived through this, okay? But it's really important because when you are working with leaders, and I've been working with leaders for years and years and years, every leader that I have ever worked with, sometime in their life, had trauma. Remember we talked about being in kindergarten and preschool? We talked about coloring, and for some folks that's a lot of trauma, and they still can't get past it. So imagine if you've lived a life of domestic violence. You know what that is, right? Domestic violence? Okay. Imagine if you lived a life that there's alcoholism and drug addiction in your family. Imagine if you lived a life that there's sexual abuse in your family. You know what incest is?
Yes.
So imagine if you lived that. Do you think that could stop you? I mean, like really stop you. You think it could be like that anchor, like around your ankle, right? And you're like dragging around. Oh, my family, there's domestic violence. Oh, my dad's an alcoholic. Oh, my mother is a drug addict. Oh, my dad had sex with me when I was 2. Oh, I became a prostitute when I was 16. Oh, I didn't think I could go to college. What do you think? What do you think you really should do if you keep doing that? Change your mind. That's right. Change your life, change your mind. So I'm going to talk to you about daughter for rent and what resiliency looks like. And you're probably going, daughter for rent? Like how can you rent out a daughter?
Yeah.
Seriously, right? Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah.
Okay, good. And thanks for your honesty. And so we're also going to have a little bit of a conversation around this because it might stir up some questions for you. So even though this is not a training on what sex trafficking is all about, okay? We're just going to do a little overview, but I could also come back one day if we ever want to do that, if you really want to learn more about it, and I can spend some time with you and really teach you about that if you'd like to do that, okay? And so that's me, believe it or not. Yep, I know, it was a long time ago. I know, yep. But that was right before my 16th birthday. My world changed forever. I thought that the world I lived in before this happened was not a very nice world to be living in. But then I really found out what it was going to be like. And so, you know, I was fortunate in this time. This is going to sound really weird and strange, okay? But I was fortunate to grow up in a family, and my parents really didn't have a lot growing up. So to be able to give my brother and I things like brownies and Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts and to live on the water and for me to be in beauty pageants and to dance and do those and model and do those kinds of things, you know, for my mom, it was like a great gift she was giving us, right, my brother and I. For my dad, it was a way to advertise it. And so, and I did that for years and years thinking it was like so cool, you know, and I think maybe sometimes I was a little snobby about it, maybe a little stuck up about it. Now that I think back, I don't really know. Maybe it was just my self-confidence coming out. I really don't know, okay? But I do know there was times I'd be like, yeah, this weekend, I'm gonna go away, yep, because I'm in a beauty pageant this weekend. Ah, Friday night, I'm modeling Friday night. Oh, I get to do a photo shoot. But what I never, ever told anyone is what I had to do before that. So that's really a pretty picture, right? Okay, this was a professional photo shoot. But before this photo shoot that was done, I had a private one with my dad. And trust me, it did not look anything at all like this. My clothes were not totally on my body. And that happened, you know, your eyes are like, okay? This is not about traumatizing you. This is about, there are people sitting in this room, in your classroom at school, when you go away to college, those of you that go to Starbucks, go to the grocery store for your parents, or on a football team, a basketball team, a soccer team, go to a concert, whatever it is, that have survived something, and you have no idea. Because can you tell on the outside? Okay. Now you can if they like really are drugged out, they're really being beaten. You can tell by body language, right? You can tell by no eye contact, those kinds of things. But for the most part, it's pretty hard to tell, right? Because nobody wears it on, like I didn't wear a sign, hey, classmates, guess what? I had sex today before I came to school. Want to know what's going to happen after school today? Don't do that. And so, for me personally, I was 2 years old the first time my dad ever had sex with me. And I know you're going to think, how do you have sex with a 2-year-old? Well, it does not happen with body parts, or with male body parts, okay? It does happen with other body parts. And that continued until around my 10th or 11th birthday. And then I found out what sex really is and what happens with male body parts and women's body parts and female body parts. And I share that with you because I'm just gonna like build up to something else that happened. And so I lived that life, you know, being sexually abused. At the same time, the outside world thought our family was perfect because we looked perfect. I was raised Catholic and Greek Orthodox. My family, most of it Tarpon Springs. Anybody know this little Greek community is called Tarpon Springs? It's all Greeks. Because I'm half Greek. That's my entire family. So I lived this world from the outside that looked perfect. But when I came home, it was a nightmare. And so what would happen is, I'd have to come home. And I would get to go do the fun things that my friends got to do. I'd get to go to the beach and I'd get to go out on the boat and I would go do my modeling and all that stuff. But every time I got to do something that was fun for a child, I had to have sex with my dad first. Because you see, I learned at a very young age that the exchange for me was have sex with my dad, I got to go do something. Have sex with my dad, I got a pair of shoes. Had sex with my dad, I got to go to the movies. Had sex with my dad, I got to go to school. Yeah, I know. And I'm sharing that with you because you see, you might have some friends that are kind of doing some behaviors, and it's what we call survival sex. So for me, it was about survival. And because if I didn't do it, what would happen? I either didn't get those things, which I became very accustomed to getting them, right? Or just because it's a parent that is doing things to you doesn't mean that you don't get beat if you don't do them, right? Okay, so we're going to move on. We're going to fast forward because all the time's sake here. So I'm on the stage and I'm modeling. I'm doing my thing. You know, I'm looking good. I got on my ball gown. I'm thinking life is great. And all of a sudden, there's these men staring at me. And I remember going, ooh, what is this? Like creepy. And we've all had it, right? Guys, haven't you had where someone's looked at you and you're like, my zipper ain't down. I know I got all my clothes on, right? Girls, right? Same thing. And you're like, this is like creepy. So I remember saying to my mom, like, Ma, who are these men? I know because I do that stuff. So who are these men that are staring at me? And she's like, oh, sweetie, don't worry about it. There's like someone, grandpa or uncle or whatever, that came to see the other girls. And I'm like, no, Mom, no. There was something really was weird about this. I didn't have the language to put around it, but I knew that I felt icky inside, more icky than I felt any other time. And she said, just don't worry. And I said, okay. So 2 weeks go by, you know, I'm doing my kid thing as best I can. I'm in high school now, got my own car, you know, imagine what I had to do to get the car, but I got my own car, you know, all these things. And then I said, you know, I don't think I can do this anymore. I'm not liking those men looking at me that way. I'm not liking having to have sex with my dad all the time. I want to have, when I have my boyfriend, to be able to be a real girlfriend instead of like hiding behind what I'm having to do with my dad. Like I want to do what a lot of you got to learn to do. Like that real first kiss, you know, like that first time you really got to hold someone's hand. That's what I wanted for myself. And so I remember thinking, the only way it's going to happen is to kill him. I know, really, how silly is that, right? But I'm thinking, okay, well, nobody's coming forward, but there's no way my teachers don't know what's happening. There is no way my priest at both churches, Catholic and Greek Orthodox, there's no way they didn't know what was going on. There is no way my family doesn't know, because you know what? There'd be times they would say to my mom, she's Italian, so her name's Gilda. Okay, Ricky, for sure. Yo, Ricky, how come at the party, Connie had to get in the car with her dad? And they're driving off together, because every place my dad went, I had to go with him. And we see her, they're driving off, and then all of a sudden she disappears. Where did she go? And, you know, we're very expressive with our eyes, right? So as a little girl, I got big eyes. I always had big eyes. I'd be like, are you listening to what you're asking my mom? And nobody ever did anything. And this would happen repeatedly. So I knew that there were people out there that knew in their gut, right? Listen to your gut. Every time your gut starts, you have that funky feeling inside, like stop for a minute and go, ooh, check it out. Because you know what? That doesn't lie to you. It's going to tell you when you aren't supposed to go in that car with that person. It's going to tell you when that guy is really, really cute. It's going to tell you that school you want to go to is like really a good choice to do. Okay, it's going to totally guide you. And so I said, okay, I can't do this. I'm going to get a knife. I'm going to kill him. Somebody will come forward because there ain't no way they're going to put a girl that's going to be 16 years old in jail. So here it comes, 2 weeks later, you know, after that modeling gig, all those men are staring at me. I'm feeling really creepy and icky inside. And my dad came in to do his moves. And I was like, that's it, I'm done. And I remember taking a knife out and putting it to his back and saying, I'm done. I don't really care what happens. I'm gonna kill you. Didn't really know if I'd kill myself, but I figured I'd at least kill him and my life would be great and I could move on. Now imagine for yourself getting the courage to standing up to that bully. Imagine. Imagine yourself getting courage to standing up, just someone that maybe just said something not nice to you, and you're standing up for yourself or for your little brother or for your little sister, and they laugh in your face. What do you think that's going to do to you? Defeat, right? Ooh, what's going to happen now? Well, that's what happened. I laughed, I shared with him and told him what I was going to do, had the knife in his back, and he literally just laughed in my face. I'm like, laugh? How can you laugh at me? And he goes, I heard what you said to your mom. You wanted to know who those men were. I said, yeah, who were those men? He said, they have been waiting for this day to happen. I'm like, oh, look, I'm gonna be 16 years old. Like, what day to happen? Really, like, seriously? He's like, yeah, I've been waiting for this day to happen and so have they. Because you see those men, and we're talking back in the 70s, so we didn't have cell phones, right? We didn't have YouTube. We didn't have media, social media to advertise like we do today. And then the training, because I'm going to come back and do a training with the kids on sex trafficking, and we can talk all about that. So we didn't have Backpage and Craigslist and all these things that we have today to advertise young girls and boys and men and women to be sold basically for sex or rented out for sex. He said, that's how I'm advertising you. I'm like, sex with other people? He goes, yeah, you're going to be a prostitute. I said, okay. Now, you're thinking, you really said okay to be a prostitute? I was like, yeah. Because think about the things you've said okay to, because you don't really know what it means, right? Or you're thinking, I'm too young for some of this stuff that you're asking me to do, so I'll say okay, because maybe I'll get a little peace for a moment, right? And they'll go away and they'll forget about it. And that's what I thought. Because in my brain, there is no way that a 16-year-old girl was a prostitute in the 70s. Prostitutes were older women, and you know, it didn't matter if it was a woman of color or not, but they were older women, very hard looking. You've seen them. They got tons of makeup on, right? Hair's out to here. You're like, dang, did they ever like look in the mirror? You know, that was my perception of what a prostitute was, right? And so I said, okay, boy, did my life ever change. Didn't have to have sex with my dad as much. That was a good thing, but I still did. But that was a good thing. It wasn't every day, sometimes twice a day. But I started having sex with men that my dad would set up in the parking lot of my high school. No different than what's happening today. A hotel that was built across the street from my high school. I'd have to service them after the football game. No different than today. Anybody that knows the Tampa Bay area, there's this great highway. It's called the Causeway. It was beautiful, water on both sides. I still love the Causeway. But there was little pockets of trees. So I'd get dropped off on the Causeway and I'd have to walk it. And I would stop. And this was my life until I turned 19 years old. And I was still in high school. I still was a dancer. I still modeled. I was still in beauty pageants. I still went out with my friends, still friends with most of them. Fast forward about 40 something years later from high school. And you know what? I made a decision that was not going to stop me. And if there's anyone, right, think about what I went through growing up. Could I not have said, who's ever going to want me? Should I really ever have children? Well, what will happen the day my children find out that not only was I a victim of childhood sexual abuse, so not just that, but that I was also a prostitute. And that I was the one that said I would be one. So what do you think my mantra started to become? Change my mind, change my life, right? So every time I would have a negative thought come up, what am I going to do when my kids find out? My kids are going to love me when they find out, because I'm going to change my mind and change my life, how I relate to my children. When I would have a negative thought about going to college, because you see, I wasn't allowed to go to college when I was young, because this is what I was told. You learn everything that you needed to know. You're the best of the best. I was in pornography from the time I was 2 to 19. You are the best of the best. Just use that for the rest of your life. You can have anything that you want. So that mantra, I want you to plant it. I want you to write it down. You got your composition books. Write it down. Change my mind, change my life. You will be amazed how that can carry you through from this moment. Because right now what you have is you have this moment in time. And guess what else you have? You get do-overs. Right? So if something happens in your life, and you're like our little rubber band, right? And you're really resilient, and you say to yourself, oh, this is a failure, it's a mistake, I can get a do-over. Ooh, I'm gonna change my mind and change my life. Whoa, sorry about that. It's a do-over. Think about it. Don't let it drag you around. Don't let it take you to such a place that you can't pick your foot up. And that this is like this, like you're constantly doing this, okay? So tools in your toolbox. So we're going to talk a little bit about imagination, inspiration, adulation, right? Because those are all tools in your tool belt. Leadership. This whole conference. What do you think this whole conference is about?
Leadership.
Leadership. What are we giving you at this conference? Tools in your tool belt. So that one day, maybe it's not today, and maybe it's not tomorrow. For some of you, it might be 10 years from now. You're going to go, oh, I remember what Miss Connie said. Oh, I remember what Mr. Sean said. Oh, I remember what Miss Tamara said. And I don't know how I spoke yesterday, so I'm sorry. Those are the other people that I remember. It's all tools in your tool belt. Use them. You'll be amazed. And all of a sudden, the light bulb is going to go off, bing, and it's going to be there. So imagination. Is it great to imagine? Yes? No? Okay. What's the world like if we don't have imagination? Dull. What else is the world like if we don't have imagination? You go. Boring. Boring. What else is the world like if we don't have imagination?
If there was no imagination, there would be no inventions. There would be nothing.
You're so brilliant.
There would be no light bulbs. There would be no buildings.
That's
Imagination it's like seeing the future.
That's right. We'd have no cell phones. Oh, what would your world be? Really? No texting? Oh my goodness, what do we do? Right, you are brilliant. Were you like right here with me, like one? Because I was like, come on, please, please, come on, give it to me. Yeah, so imagination. And what do you think adulation means? What do you think this is? There's my light bulb for my guy right there, this light bulb. It's about ideas. What do you think this means? Kind of falls imagination, but what else does it fall with? Creativity. Think it has anything to do with humanity? Think it has anything to do with social justice? Yeah. So look at this. It's a proven expertise in a given field. We're not cookie cutters. Any of us look exactly the same in this room? Anybody know that are twins, right? They're identical twins. Do they really look like 100% identical? Because maybe you're like, I can't tell the difference who they are. But you really get really close and there's like this little curly Q right here. Like just a little curly Q right here, right? That might be the only thing that's different. But nobody is exactly the same. So it's about collaboration. It's about crafting a plan. It's about coming together. It's about addressing a very unique challenge. So for me, the challenge is human rights, social injustice, healthcare epidemics. For me, it's about sex trafficking and human trafficking. What is it for you? Because see, I know that if we come together as a world united, we use our imagination of how can we eradicate. We're not going to stop it. That I know. But how can we eradicate it? How can we slow it down? How can we make a difference for the folks that are being trafficked? And it's not just sex trafficking. There are people right here in Ocala that are domestic servitude, that are working in hotels, that are working in restaurants, that are working in nail salons, in massage parlors, that are working in every field that's out there, that are being trafficked in one way or another. There are people that are in your neighborhoods that are living in houses, and maybe they're cleaning the house. And it doesn't mean you live in a really affluent neighborhood, okay? It just means that you live in a neighborhood where there's people that you don't know what's going on behind closed doors, do you? Because someone that is a victim of domestic servitude, they usually don't leave the house. You'd be surprised how many stories I hear of someone was locked up in a house for 5 years cleaning for a family, and no one, everybody else in the neighborhood or the apartment complex or the project had no idea somebody was living in that place with them. It's a healthcare epidemic. I don't know about you, but I want to see my grandchildren have a healthy life. I think you want to have a healthy life, right? I think that when you have children, you want to see your parents live. So if we don't come together and we don't collaborate and we don't find a way to take away the social injustice that are happening in this world, and again, it has nothing to do about race, color, religion, socioeconomics. What it has to do is that we are human beings. It also has nothing to do with how many people that it is, right? Because like when you're in school, you have to learn statistics, don't you? You have to learn like all these numbers. There's 10,000 of this and 5 of that and 1 of this and 3 of that and like whatever it is. And you're like, really? Can't I just learn the basics about it? Do I have to know all the numbers that are associated with it? But in my world, in our world, collaborating together, numbers don't matter. This is what matters. One person as inflicted is all that matters. Guess what else when it only matters for one? One person is all it takes to make a change. So who's going to be that one person in this room? Who's going to make that change? You're going to make that change, right? Anybody else in this room going to make that change? Come on, you guys are leaders. What do you think this is about? Let's try to raise those hands. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Come on. You can do it. Thank you. Yeah. Good. Because you know what? Every moment is an inspiration. Every moment you are inspired to do something greater than you, bigger than you, beyond you. So you know what I do, what my mantra is every night and every morning? So before I put my head down on my pillow, oh, sometimes my dog has to get her head there before me, right? Because she thinks she's like my other child and has to like do the, puts her head on the pillow, does this so the covers go on top of her. I'm like, seriously, dog? But okay. So, but when I finally get to lay my head on my pillow, right, I say to myself, I am greater and there is more beyond me. Because whatever I think my greatness is, I could stop myself, right? I don't want to live on myself. I don't want to stop myself. What I want to do is open myself up to greatness, right? And it's beyond me. And I do the same thing in the morning before I get up. And so getting up and breaking through, you're going to move forward because that is how you get your life. Okay? So 7 steps to a resilient leader. 1 is a positive image. Because if you go walking around like this, anybody gonna think you're a leader? No, but if you put your shoulders back, put your head up high, I don't care what's going on in your life, right? You're gonna have that confidence. You know, we'll send these to you. And they should, some of these should be in your books, okay? Solid goals. Anybody have their goals written down? Doing that? Okay, they're gonna change. They can change every moment. But start writing goals down, okay? Because that gives you a place to go, what you need to achieve. Are you empathetic? Are you compassionate? Please don't waste time. So you might say, well, I'm only like 15 years old. I got all kinds of time. Yeah, let me tell you what. It goes really, really, really fast. Okay? So just keep going. Move through. Victim. Don't ever have that victim mentality. I don't care whatever happens to you in your life. You do your little mantra. Change your mind, change your life. I am not a victim of anything. Challenge. You got to challenge yourself. If you don't, you're going to paralyze yourself. So always challenge yourself. Commitment. Have a commitment to your life, to your goals. That life is even more than you. It's your brother and sisters. It's your parents. It might even be your job. It's going to be your friends. It's going to be what are you going to take in school? What is going to be your career? What is going to be your job? But have a commitment, and a commitment bigger than you. And your personal control. Who can control your time? I know you're thinking school controls my time, my parents control my time. But who really controls your time? It's Excuse me? That's right. That's right. So they might give you, okay, you have to be home by 10 o'clock, and you got to leave at 8, so you have 2 hours. But isn't it up to you in those 2 hours what you do? Okay, right, so you can control your time. All right, you're gonna fail. You're gonna fall flat on your face from time to time. That's perfectly okay. It doesn't matter if that happens, okay? That's how we learn. And you know what, I can send the PowerPoint if you want to send them out some stuff, if you guys want it, so then you can take some things off of it. Is that fair enough? Is that good? Okay? And so I need somebody to come up. Oh, my birthday boy. Yo.
Elijah.
I'm sorry, I don't remember your name. Elijah. Elijah, come here. Please. I'm loving that pink shirt. Woo! That bow tie.
Layla.
My son would be like, my son's a fashion designer for those years. He'd be like, yeah, you're doing good. Okay, you ready? So, do you agree that it's a quality of leaders to develop resiliency? Is that a quality of a leader to develop? Yes or no? Yes. So write it down. Anybody else agree? Yes or no? Yes. Everybody agree, yes or no? Yes. All right, put check mark, we got everybody agree. All right, what's the next? Somebody read me number 2. What's number 2?
Is it simply the result of
What do you think? I'm sorry?
Can be learned.
Okay, can be learned. You can just put learn. If you want. Or whatever works for you. All right, here's the deal. If you ever have to come up, I always create safe spaces, okay? If you ever have to come up when you're like working with me doing something, don't ever worry about the spelling. Okay, because you know you get really nervous. Even if you understand and you know exactly how to spell the words, all of a sudden the brain goes poof. Right? It's kind of like, you know the answer and the teacher calls on you. Right? How embarrassing is that? And you're like, and then the wrong words come out of your mouth. Well, it's kind of like the same thing when you do that. So, I didn't mean to call you out, but I was like, I know you stopped to think a minute, and I was like, yeah. So we're creating the safety zone here, okay? All right, number 3, read it up.
Do you have any stories or advice to share with other leaders on how to build a personal success strategy?
Come on, give us 1 or 2 things. What's your advice? Come on, come on, come on. Excuse me? Didn't you say anything? Didn't I hear strive or something over here? No, see, you did say a word. Strive. Okay, write down strive. All right, somebody over here. Come on, give me a word, give me a word. I need to hear the word.
change?
Change. Change. And what'd you say right there? What'd you say?
Determination.
Determination. Okay. Awesome.
Know when to ask for help.
Know when to ask for help. And then just do that. Know when to ask for help. I'm going to teach you something here. Whenever you're teaching, always do it in 3, 5s, or 7s. So when you're looking for answers, so questions you're going to do 3, 5, or 7s, tips 3, 5, or 7. And when you're looking for answers, like, you only need 3 answers, maybe 5 answers, 7 answers if you really like be full of yourself and you need a lot of answers, okay? But that's like just a little tip. All right, give them a round of applause. Let's go. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay. All right, so 10 things that require 0 talent. Who wants to read this for me? Right there, my blue shirt, right there.
Being on time, work ethic, effort, body language, energy, attitude, passions, being coachable, doing extra, being prepared.
That's right. 0 talent is something you should do every day. Doesn't cost you any money. You can't say, I can't afford it, I don't have the money. Because this is something that you should practice every single day. And it's 10 things that are like really easy to do. Okay? Oh, and the keys to success. Who has those?
We do.
Who?
We do.
That's right. You have the keys to success. What? How's that look for you? Yeah, you. I'm sorry. How's that look for you? Keys for success for you. How does that look? Good? You want to give us a tip? Like 1 tip. Just 1 tip.
Work hard.
Work hard. Okay. Somebody else.
Being teachable.
Being teachable. Awesome. Oh, yes. Fine. Excuse me?
Push yourself.
Push yourself. Yep. Yes.
Practice.
Practice. Okay. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
To encourage others.
That's right, being willing to encourage others. Is it all about you?
No.
Do you think sometimes it's all about you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that called being human?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But what do you got to do about that? You got to stretch. You got to stretch outside of yourself. You got to go beyond who you are. Because here's the deal with that. You want to be leaders? Right? You want to be leaders?
Yeah.
So if you are leaders, and it's all about you all the time, like all the time, it's all about you. I'm looking good. I just wrote that paper, so my teammates helped me write that paper. I ain't putting their names on it, not giving them credit because I'm going to get that A. Oh, so teamwork because we're athletic and we're doing our stuff. Oh, that looks really good. Oh, I'm not going to help them. If you stretch out beside yourself, outside of yourself, what do you think is going to really happen? You're going to become a leader. And who follows leaders?
Followers.
Followers. So do you want to be a follower?
No.
You want to be a leader?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And so goals, plan, and success. That should be our next one. So we're going to watch one more video. But what do you think that is about doing goals? We need goals?
Yes.
Why do we need goals? Because what does it equal? Success. Do we need to plan?
Yes.
Why do we need to plan? To reach our goals. To do what? To succeed. Right. So do you see how that kind of all interchanges together? Do you think that's something else you could like put up like on your laptop, on your book bag, on your mirror in your bathroom? So change my mind, change my life. Oh, goals, plans, success. Oh, what's my affirmation? What does my affirmation look like? Okay? And you know what? People laugh at me when they come in my house, but in my kitchen, where I wash my dishes, I got my little affirmations. I got affirmations for my kids too. Okay? You know, like they are worthy of love. You know, they are successful, not they will be. They are successful. They are in love. They are, you know, so I also do it for my kids, so not just about you either, okay? So we're going to watch this next video. It's inspiration, vision, motivation, innovation. Hopefully this one's louder than the other one.
I tried.
Okay. So never give up. Never ever give up. So inspiration and vision, motivation and innovation, leadership and teamwork, that all equals success. that also speaks to each and every one of you, right? And so before we close today, I'm just going to share one more little thing about myself. And so remember I shared with you before, like I wasn't allowed to go to college, any of those kinds of things. And so I did have 2 children. So I have a son, Morgan, that is 32 years old and is a fashion designer of menswear and is a father of an 18-month-old and married to my daughter-in-law, Melissa. I have a 26-year-old daughter, Courtney Rose. She is a doctor of chiropractic. So you can see I'm like very beaming and very proud of my children. And I was never having children because I didn't want to bring them into this world because I didn't know how to do that. Like I didn't want them to ever live through what I lived through. But then I remembered my mantra, right? The day I graduated from high school, and you take your tassel, you'll be doing that one day, and you put it over to the other side, and I went, this is my life. Even though I was still in the life for 2 more years, being prostituted out, I knew that it was my time to claim my life. And so fast forward, I had my son, then I had my daughter, and then I said, I want to go back to school. And by this point, I'd had a great career with Revlon. I was a trainer, I had traveled nationally with them, so I had a great career, but what was missing for me was to have my degree. What was also missing for me was to say what my dad had said. All I needed to do was use my body, and that was my education. I was like, no, there's a lot more to that, right? So don't let words, what people say to you, define what your future is going to be. And so I went back to school, and in 5 years, I got my undergrad and my master's, which was like a huge accomplishment for me, right? And then later on, thank you. And then later on, I went back to become master level certified in special ed. So I taught special education for about 3 years. And then just recently, I decided it's time to now become Dr. Rose. And so I am working on my PhD. My goal is to literally have it completed by November 2nd, 2016, because I turned 60 years old on that day. And so what I'm saying to you is that you can have it. Don't ever let your past define your future. And in the Talmud it says, our past we inherit, but our future we create. So go out and create an incredible future. Thanks.
Love to come up here and present something to Miss Connie.
Aww.
Just to say thank you. We give our very wonderful Let's do it that way because the light?
No, because the camera.
Because
Oh, this way. Go that way. Camera there.
Oh.
See? Hello. Wait. Hi, camera.
and then this side.
Thank you. Thank you. We can do questions.
But are there any important questions? Anyone have anything that they would like to ask Miss Connie?
If you were to find out about someone either being trafficked or just abused or something like that, how would you recommend someone go about it? Because I know that a lot of people, like you said, the teachers knew about it, but maybe they were too scared to go against whoever the abuser was. So how do you recommend standing up to that or saying something? How to go about it?
It depends on who the abuser is. So can I just use you as an example?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if it was you and someone was abusing you and you wanted to stand up, sometimes you just stand up and you just say no. And you take the consequences that come with it. But there are times that if you keep standing up enough, that person is going to back down. But here's the other thing, and this is what I teach, this is what I taught my children, and this is what I teach a lot of young people. You keep going out and finding someone that you can talk to until someone does something about it for you. Okay? Because sometimes you might have to tell 10 people. But that 10th person is going to be the person that's going to sit down with you, walk you through all the steps, and you know, you might have to get removed from the situation. The person or whoever the victim is will get removed from the situation, and sometimes that's not easy to do. But you will find the right person to walk through it. The other thing is that if there's any of you that are going through anything, so I have my 2 cards, okay, so I can give you my personal cell phone number, and you are welcome to call me and we can walk it out. There's some great advocates that are in the Ocala area that I know that we can walk it out, okay? Yeah.
I'm not sure if I missed it. Was your mom aware that her husband was doing all those things to you?
Okay, I didn't talk about that because that's a whole, so that's literally like an hour keynote all by itself. So, but I'll just share with you quickly. So I get on my soapbox sometimes, okay, that we all have stuff that has happened to us, right? And if I don't put this down, I'll keep using it, it'll go flying somewhere. Because being Greek and Italian, my hands go everywhere. Anything that's ever happened to you, now we already learned change your mind, change your life, right? So do your mantra. But we still sometimes carry stuff around with us. And so a lot of people that have lived through trauma, if they never dealt with that trauma, so I'll use my mom for an example. She was never sexually abused, but she came from a very, very, very violent childhood. So violent that in the 30s, late 30s, no, 40s, excuse me, my mother got a judgment. That means you go to the court, to the judge, so that her dad could not come near her anymore. And my little Italian grandmother that was 4'3" got a divorce. So you can only imagine how horrific the domestic violence was in her household. But my mother never dealt with it. So when it happened in her own marriage, what do you think she did?
She didn't know what to do.
Nope, she just turned. She pretended. Because I talked to her, I mean, my mother's still alive. And the conversation that we have today is it was easier for me to pretend that it wasn't happening. Because if I had to acknowledge what was happening to you, I had to look at my childhood. And I was never prepared to go back and look at my own childhood. So you know the meditation tools that you learned, right, from Mr. Sean, right? From tomorrow you learned about affirmations, but more importantly, I'm a proponent about you have to go talk to people. And yeah, therapists are great, you know? Sometimes it takes 1 or 2, 3 or 4 before you find the right thing. Trauma therapy is great, but what is really awesome is that you find a group of people that you can share. And you talk about, you don't hold things that are a secret. Because when you hold secrets, like my mom, she's kept it a secret all these years. Very few people know what happened in her family. You hold secrets, what do secrets do? Eat you. They eat you up. What else do secrets do? They make you vulnerable. So other things happen to you. But here's the other thing, is that when your friend comes to you to tell you something that's going on, when you have children of your own, and you suspect something, or your child does come to you and say, Daddy, something happened at school, I got bullied. And he's thinking, oh, I remember getting bullied in school, and he never dealt with it. They're not gonna do anything, so deal with your stuff. Okay, any more questions, are we good? All right, so I'm gonna give you my card, so I will put them up here. You are welcome to call me anytime, but this is what I'm gonna ask you. Just remind me where we talked. Okay? Only because I'll go, who are you? What? So just remind me, okay? So thank you very much.
All right, good job. So you know the routine, Miss Connie's name, what you guys picked up from it, and it's great that it's even the same things that people are writing. We don't know what everybody's writing, but we're aggregating and collecting all this good information, so thank you for that. Before we have our next speaker, what I'm going to do is pass out a handout. Thank you. I'd like you guys to take a few minutes, make sure you write your name on this, and you're going to